we have come to understand here. Okay. And I have this on like very good information. I can't reveal a source or anything. And this isn't about like, I don't know. I want to share with you guys new information I have about a story that is heavily trafficked on our Rogue Media Network, on my show, on any platform now. It's certainly a story that has me interested. And when I was able to glean this information, I was excited to share it with you all. And I made sure I could, right? So it's not crazy inside info on what happened, but I can take you through part of the missing puzzle pieces right now as to what Mark Sanchez was up to that Friday night. Having called games for ESPN and having been on Fox Crews as a spotter before, NFL games too, so I know the rhythm of that a little bit. You know, Friday night is the night that people go out and maybe have fun. Saturday night is a production meeting night. It's like business time, right? But Friday, you get into the city. If there's a night where you kind of let your hair down a little bit, it's that Friday night. So the Fox crew in Indianapolis, which included, Mark Sanchez, apparently on Friday they went out. They went bowling. Okay, on Friday night, like, and that gives you an idea. Like, it's not like nefarious. Like, I know Fox was involved in this lawsuit, and I understand why lawsuits. Look, Mike Florio said it best yesterday. Like, for people who are saying this is a money grab for this guy to file a lawsuit against Sanchez and Fox, the guy was minding his own business, and somebody beat the shit out of him. Like, that's kind of why you have lawsuits. That being said, the whole Fox side of it makes no sense to me. I can understand why an attorney might tell you it does, but you know, there's team bonding that is really important as far as the quality of these broadcasts are concerned. And it truly is like a steak dinner, going to a bowling alley, right? You get the crew together. That camaraderie really builds better relationships. And I can tell you 100,000%, it makes the broadcast better. You're just more in sync and there's more cohesion with you and the people you're working with because there's a personal connection there. And that matters. I mean, it goes back to football in general. Bill Parcells, or Bill Belichick actually says, who we may be talking about in a little bit. You know, you ask people, Bill, how do you get through to these guys? Like, how did you make these guys play so well for you with the Patriots for so many years? And he's like, it's got to start with a personal connection. And a lot of the success you have in anything you do in life, you know, that personal connection is huge. So obviously camaraderie and bonding are a big part of that. So, you know, it's Friday night, this crew goes out for dinner. Adults, right? I have no idea what happened, but I know they did have some drinks at dinner. And that was, I think bowling was included with dinner. And then they go home, right? That's what you do when you're an adult and it's getting late at night. 2 Ubers take or take the party, the Fox party home back to the JW Marriott where they're staying. And what happens? Sanchez goes back out. Right. And that is like, for somebody like me who is, and I'm not saying Mark Sanchez is an alcoholic, right? But I know that I am, right? In recovery, 13 years in, 14 in a month. How about that shit for you? Yeah. Nobody was ever betting on this guy. Thanks, Scotty. But that was when I worked with, I used to spot for Matt Devlin. And I was, you know, late 20s, early 30s. We would go to these great dinners with people from Fox who were responsible and, you know, had certain tendencies that adults have, which is like you go to dinner, you come home, you're tired, you go to bed, right? I had tendencies that like alcoholics have, or people that like to take drugs. Like everybody goes home and that's when your real night starts, like the night ranger. And unfortunately for Sanchez, he had some of that in him going back out into the night. And so we all know kind of, well, we'll learn more about exactly what happened, but that's how this, you know, this situation begins, right? And a lot of times with like someone who's suffering with some kind of addiction or internal turmoil that would bring up a situation like this, right? Like a lot of times, like, you know, people you're with don't even have any idea about that. You know, it comes out, you know, under the cover of night. And here we are with the Sanchez thing. I think one thing that is not being talked about enough on a positive note, you know, Brady Quinn called the Michigan game the day before on a Saturday, right? He flies home to Dublin, Ohio, and gets a call like, hey, dude, like, we need you on this game, and that Saturday afternoon, he's on the Zooms, right? He's getting dialed in. He drives to the game in Indianapolis from his home in Dublin and does a kick-ass job. Like, so good for him. So, like, there's two positives here. Like, we're thinking about Sanchez, and I am, because I know what it's like to be there, and I have no idea what it's like to be on a platform or like to be famous and go through something like this, And I again, I'm not saying like casting this wide net like Mark Sanchez has a drug and alcohol problem, but clearly there's a problem. I mean, this is a problem. What's going on with him now? And it sucks because I love the guy and I want to see him. I've just always been a fan. And apparently he's like the nicest guy ever. I've never met him in all my travels. But so this situation sucks, but that's a little background and context on the reality of what did happen in Indianapolis leading up to this terrible incident. And then, my own experience having trouble with the booze and all that stuff, So, we'll keep you posted if we hear anything more like that. But I was actually, when I heard it, I was like, do I want to share that? Is that like, but no, I was like, the person was like, yeah, share it. Like it's, so that's what I did. Here, let's talk about somebody who's an alcoholic.